Everybody, it's Chab. Nobody else is on at 7 o'clock. It's actually 7:30. Still used to saying 7 o'clock. 7:30, Sunday night. Time for some Sunday night live chat. Great crowd on here already. Buick Man, JP, Glenn, Cal, Jim Petty. Pete's here with us. Dad's on. John Anderson's here. We are connecting on Facebook as well. We'll see if it works tonight. I was still monkeying with the microphone over there again, so we'll see if we get anybody on Facebook tonight and if we have any sound. It's been a challenge the last several weeks. So anyway, hope you guys are still with me. My timer just reset, so that was kind of weird. Scott's here with us on Facebook. Do we have sound tonight, Scott? I'm not sure, so you let me know. Charles is here. Lee from New York's on with us. Joe's on Facebook, and it is working. Okay. Dan from Defiance says, hit the like button. Appreciate that, Dan. Alex here, and we do have sound. Okay. Tractor Mike made it tonight. Our good friend Tractor Mike is here. David W. is on. Facebook, I had to play with it again tonight. Facebook microphone is defaulting to a microphone that apparently doesn't exist, because I had to reset it again tonight. So now at least I know to double check. I was wondering about that because I don't think that was the same one I had last week. So I hit the drop down box, went to the default, boom, we're good. That's what I did last week. Brett and Heather are here with us. So anyway, that apparently Facebook is just automatically defaulting to some weird microphone, and we have to physically go in and change it apparently every time. We'll find out how that's going to work. Pappy's here with us. Let's get things rolling tonight with a Hudson badge. So anyway, I don't know if I'd go quite that far, Glenn. But I did notice something else when I was setting up Facebook a little bit ago. It is Glenn's birthday today. That popped up on Facebook. Went on a birthday cruise today, so happy birthday to our good friend Glenn. Mark's here with us. Bill Wagaman made it tonight. So lots of things going on. Things are going to be getting really, really busy for me, so we're going to get to that here in just a bit. This week was pretty nuts, but that's partially my own fault. I took a day off. Shayla and I went to the state fair on Tuesday. So went and hung out at the state fair Tuesday. Didn't really do much, just did a lot of wandering around, picked up a couple of things. But Rusty Okie made it. Dennis Chapman's here. Steve's on with us. Glad you guys are all here. Lots of happy birthday wishes for Glenn. That's awesome. I think Glenn's like 28 now. So Bert's Adventures made it. So I kind of screwed off Tuesday, but Nate made it tonight. Kenny Peterson's here. Lots of familiar faces popping on. Trying to keep up with everybody. I'm going to miss some of you, but I always miss somebody somewhere. I try not to. Alan's here with us on Facebook tonight. Number 1. Did not have any deep fried Oreos. Did have a corn dog though, because that's a state fair staple here. But anyway, real quick, last week's auctions, there were a couple of you guys that paid that were just one piece. I did not ship those yet. I'm going to hold till this week. If you don't get anything this week, I'll go ahead and ship them. Zach, Whiskey Business, I don't know if you're on or not. Something didn't add up on your payment versus what I had written down. So we need to catch up with that on that this week and figure out where the discrepancy was at. I don't know if I wrote something down wrong or if you just missed something or what, but we'll get her figured out. But John Sanderson's here with us tonight as well. Deep fried cheese curds did not have deep fried cheese curds, but that is one thing about the state fair that number 1 brought up. They'll deep fry anything. They will literally deep fry anything that doesn't move, I think, at a state fair. I think it's like a law at a state fair. You have to deep fry everything. So I did see that Steve McQueen's son passed. I was going to read that article and never got to it yet this weekend, but that is a good point to bring up, Scott. I appreciate that. Auburn badge. Gray Kitty, what are you doing? Gray Kitty's trying to climb the auction box. You don't want to climb the auction box, Gray Kitty. Somebody will want to bid on you. Come here, Goofy. Come here. You want to say hi? You do? Come here. Oh, yes. Here you go. Okay, here you go. You want to say hi to everybody? You do or you don't? What? Here you go. Everybody wants to say hi. Here you go. Say hi. Here you go. Over here. Over here, Gray Kitty. Hey, over here. Austin made it. Yes, see, everybody wants to say hi to Gray Kitty. Gray Kitty. Everybody's saying hi to you, Gray Kitty. You don't care, do you? No, you do not care. What? What? You're perfectly fine. See, everybody's saying hi to Gray Kitty. Gray Kitty. What are you doing? What you doing? No. Oh, that's a claw. Okay. You done? Okay, let's get down. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. I'm Gray Kitty. There you go. Okay. All right, Gray Kitty has made her official appearance for the evening, for whatever that's worth. Anyway, what's coming up for me? F&E Collector Auto Auction coming up in 2 weeks. So things get really busy starting tomorrow. A good point, Bill. Now everybody's getting hungry. Everybody wants to deep fry something. Thanks, number one. Now everybody wants to deep fry everything. But lots of stuff going on there. We've only got 30-some vehicles on the website right now. I know there are probably at least 10 more coming tomorrow or the next day. I've got a couple guys I've got to check with tomorrow that have some stuff they want to do that I need to get listed tomorrow. Plus some other guys that I know that are getting ready to send stuff in should be hitting the website in the next couple days. We typically shoot for 80 to 100 cars and typically end up in the 70 to 80 window. We'll probably be down a little bit from that. I bet we're probably in the 60 to 70 window this year, which that was some memorabilia. Still makes for a pretty full day and a good time. So I don't know if any of you are going to try to make the trek to Great Bend, Kansas for the F&D Collector Auto Auction, but we'll see what happens. Frank, thanks for not scheduling the auction on the Trog weekend. Probably able to make it this year. Great, Frank. Be good to see you. Michael Glagol is here with us. So, yep, hope you can make it over this time, Frank. Since the first was on a Tuesday, we either had to go early or later in the month of October, so we backed up a couple days to the 28th. So, yeah, you better jump on that, Brett. Doesn't sound like a bad deal. Bill Wagman just got hit with a commercial. Hopefully, thanks for bringing that up, Bill. I tried to reset the parameters on commercials to try to crank them back. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? It's YouTube. So who knows what they're going to do? It's completely their game. I have a little bit of control as far as, low or high. I set the lowing. I put the setting on low, but that still may not mean anything. Who knows? It is YouTube. It's their game. They're going to do what they want. Hopefully this will at least take out a few of them, but we are still pretty much at their mercy when it comes to that stuff. Martin's here tonight. That's why Alan tried Facebook tonight, okay? Well, we'll see how it works. But anyway, so check out the website, feclassiccarauction.com, and see what you guys think. We will have online bidding available if you can't make it and there's something you're interested in. I did have a really interesting text the other day from a guy that I know here in town that wants to. I don't know if do we got any motorcycle guys on here? A guy I know in town has a 25 Harley that he wants to run. So that sounds interesting. I got to go look at that tomorrow. Tony's here with us. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be working on. My next couple of weeks are going to be bananas. Eric's here with us. So check out the website. If there's something you're interested in, you can't make it, online bidding available. Keep an eye on the website. There's going to be a lot of stuff going up. And this happens every year, and it baffles me to this day. I know the dealers, they don't want to commit a car until 2 or 3 weeks out in case they got a chance to sell it. But there's a lot of people who you talk to them, and then they still do it last minute. So we'll see what happens, but it always gets busy this last few weeks. A lot of stuff comes in. So we'll have some new neons, Brett, some new, but we don't have any original neons listed at this point. But something else has been going on. I've been checking, still watching the No Buddies Facebook page. That's still awesome to see what you guys have going on there. Lots of great posts this week on the No Buddies Facebook page. There again, huge shout out to Rusty Oakey and Whiskey Business Zach for putting that together and helping run that for us. If you're not on there, get on there. I think we've got like 65 people on there. Let's see if we can get that pushed to like 100 members. If you've got friends that you think might be interested in it, have them get on there and keep up with what we've got going on. So Rusty Oakey got his first car show award this weekend. That's cool. So anyway, be sure to check out the No Buddies page and keep up with what's going on. Like I said, I don't comment on there. A lot of times I'll try to share the posts of when we're getting things, when we've got something going on over there, but I don't comment on a lot of them. But please, guys, know that I am looking at it. Answers to the questions. I don't even remember the question. I know one of them was Johnny Carson. I don't even remember what the other question was, Rusty Oakey. But they do have questions set up so that you actually have to go in and click the button so that bots can't get in, which is a great idea, and I appreciate that. But I don't remember the other question. No one else bid on the diesel VW. I actually kind of like that diesel VW because we had one when I was a kid, but I don't have any money, so kind of answers that question. But it is a cool little truck, and those things are getting a pretty good following. I did hear that Gene had the Manweiler sign advertised. I did hear that. I have not seen it, but I did hear that, JP, that Gene did have the Manweiler's neon advertised for sale. But I think it was, somebody told me it was on Facebook. I have not seen it. Of course, I never went and looked either. Yeah, I heard it was big bucks. I don't know if I can actually look at it on Facebook while we're live or not. But that's a good question. I think let me see if it pulls up here, if it screws up our live. Our lives, are we still good on our live, or did I mess up the live searching in Facebook? I'm just looking real quick because it is an amazing sign. Actually, let me just look up Manweilers and see if it's on there. Matt's here with us. Balin wire. I can't find it. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I did hear it was listed, and it is an amazing sign. It's a one-off that they built years and years and years ago. So try one more thing. I can't find it, so I don't want to spend too much more time on it. Okay. That's what I was thinking. But I hadn't seen it in person. Austin found it. They want $125,000 for it. That's what I'd heard, but I hadn't seen the ad, so I'm glad Austin found it. Kevin Brown made it. So anyway, it's out there somewhere. Austin found it. I couldn't find it, but it's a cool looking sign. But yeah, they want $125,000 for it. So you have to have some deep pockets, but it's a killer piece. So anyway, Balin Wire, give me a shout on that GMC whenever you get time, so we can go over some details, see what we can figure out. But anyway, on the Nobody's page, like I said, lots of cool stuff. Oh, Kevin, you posted about that third row seat for that Chevy wagon. There's one at the yard. I've got one in stock. That's a highly, highly sought after option, and they're definitely not cheap, but I do have one. Will Hagebush made it. That's 3 cheaper Vipers for sure. Yep. Austin found it and posted it. Okay, and that answers our question right there. Austin found it and posted it to the Nobodies. Awesome. Appreciate that. That's great so that everybody can see it. Thanks, Austin. Anyone have a 55 Bel Air automatic steering column with? Yeah, and we talked about that, Martin. I don't have one. So if anybody's got one of those for Martin, let him know. Sounds good, Kevin. About time for a Hudson badge, isn't it? So anyway, that's what's kind of been going on and what is going to be going on for the next couple of weeks with F&E starting to ramp up. Excited to see some of you guys there, and excited that we're going to get to see some of you guys in person. If you're coming, let me know. Maybe there can be several of you hook up. The problem with it is I get, as far as me, I'm super busy. I've got a little bit of time, Friday night, Saturday night, sometimes to hang out. Saturday night I usually do, but Friday night just a little bit. But Chris and I have a lot of stuff going on. But usually Saturday evening we've got a chance to unwind and hang out a little bit. So Billy Bowman made it. So anyway, my next couple weeks are going to be bananas. We sure hope to be able to see some of you here. New inventory, what came in last week? I did get a few cars picked up. 1975 Pontiac Le Mans 2-door. Fairly rough. It's had a lot of pieces stripped on it, but there again, that 73 to 77 Colonnade Coupe stuff, we've talked about it. There just isn't much out there to get. I think I've got one Monte Carlo in 73 to 77, one special. I had one Le Mans till I got this other Le Mans, and I've got like 5 Cutlasses. Or 4 Cutlasses, 4 or 5 Cutlasses. Not much. So, even though this isn't a complete car, still want to still grabbed it and drug it in just because I just don't have much. So, yeah, Ryan, come on over, hang out here in Great Bend, 2 weeks for the F&E Collector Auto Auction. I picked up some other stuff this week that we're going to talk about here real quick, but you guys may think I'm nuts, but we'll see what you guys think. I did get another pickup. I think it's like a 98 Dodge that extended cab, half-ton four-wheel drive, kind of a Raffle truck. But there again, we've talked about that a little bit before. Jeff from Ottawa, that 94 to 02 Dodge pickup, I think are going to become more and more collectible and harder to find. So I grabbed it. It's going to be a good parts truck. The other one I got something there again. I didn't have anything at all in this window in stock, and curious to see what you guys think about it. This one is a 91. They use this body style from the early 80s up until 93, and you don't ever see any of these cars. I remember them. I had a lot of friends that drove them. For the time, they were not a bad little car, and for the time, they were a fairly peppy little car. And that's why I'm grabbing this stuff, John. The 90s are the next generation that's going to be popular. But I found a 1991 Dodge Daytona. Now, the Dodge Daytona, the Plymouth Laser, those cars were pretty common back in the day. You saw a lot of them. Like I said, I had several friends that drove them. But when's the last time you saw one? So this car is mostly intact. It's banged up a little bit on the left side, but there again, something different. trying to think ahead, trying to think about what somebody may or may not want down the road. Rico's here. So some kind of different things. So it's going to be kind of interesting. We'll see how things go, but maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Every time I buy something like that, it's a gamble. But sometimes you got to take that chance too. I may never sell anything off of them, but I may sell a bunch of stuff off of them because there's none of them left. We'll see. Time will only tell. We have one of those in the barn and want it. I might be interested in it. So anyway, that's what I drug in this week. Let's catch a promo model. Let's check out a couple of emblems. Our emblems, once again, are related tonight. Occasionally we do that. We'll get two related emblems. We're going to catch those here in a little bit. There again, Shelby Daytona. Another good point, Buick, man. And then we're going to do something a little bit different for story time. We're going to talk about who's in the raffle. We're going to give away an emblem in the raffle. And then we're going to do some cool auction stuff. I've actually got an oil can tonight that it's rough, but it's a very, very rare and desirable oil can. So it's going to have a reserve on it, and I hope nobody bids on it because I'll just put it with my better one and have two. But I'm going to give you guys a shot at it. Exactly, Kevin L., the 90s era Chevy pickups. That stuff, I think that's where it's shifting. Big Job made it. So, Rusty Oakie's already ready to go. You don't want to mess around. And 25 isn't even going to catch the minimum bid on it. So, but anyway, let's catch a promo model. Now, you guys know that last weekend, Dad and I went to an auction with an amazing batch of Chevy promos. We got 31 total, but the last 6 were I bought the last 6 in a group as they were kind of cleaning them up. So we got 25 good to awesome ones. So we're going to kind of keep working through those. You guys remember last week we did a killer 61 Impala 4-door hardtop. And this next one there, again, not one of the super killer ones, but it's a great one. And like I said, some of these things are going to knock your guys' socks off. Some of these things are pretty amazing, I think. Hudson badge. But tonight, we're going to go back to the year 1979 to the G-Body Monte Carlo in yellow of all colors. I looked up the 1979 GM colors, and they had yellow or bright yellow or another yellow that was a little bit lighter. So they were all yellow, basically. They had 3 different variations of yellow, and basically the only difference was the paint code and a little bit of brightness. This one even has a yellow interior, which is a little bit odd. That's a lot of yellow. But just like we talked about on the 61 Impala, most of these promos are in very, very good shape. So these came out of a collection from some people that had a Chevy dealer for several years. Whatever promos they personally liked, they took home and put in their own display cases. So most of these were basically taken home, unboxed, and sat on the shelf, and that's where they sat until they were sold last weekend. So obviously we can see the condition on this Monte Carlo being in outstanding shape. No chips, no breaks, all original tires and wheels, nice chrome. And that's the way most of these were. There were a few of them that had some chips and things like that in them, but most of them were really good. Or like Austin said, the viewing Friday evening will be open Friday evening as well. So there's Alex. It's definitely lemon-colored yellow. There's no doubt about it. But just like all these promos, condition is just amazing. Right, Jeff. Yeah, I didn't figure yellow was the actual interior color. It was probably going to be a tan or a beige with a yellow car, or possibly a black or a gray. But obviously, these things are in great shape. Like I said, I've got some of them that I think are going to knock some of your guys' socks off. But this is some of these, even these more average ones are pretty nice. And any of this G-Body stuff getting more and more popular all the time. This one obviously in great condition on this 79 Monte Carlo. And this is kind of weird, The interior is all yellow, and I don't know if you guys will be able to make it out or not, but it actually has a chrome shifter handle in it, if you guys can see that down in there. All yellow except the chrome shifter handle. So, lots more killer Chevrolets coming over the next several months, actually. How about some badges and emblems? Like I said, tonight's badges are related from the same vehicle, and I think these are awesome. I actually have had them in the office for a few months, and I keep forgetting to share them with you guys. So, but you guys are going to be able to figure out pretty quickly where these came from. Check that out. Beechcraft. This is actually a pop metal badge screwed on. Has these little countersunk holes on each end for the sides. Has the Beechcraft shield on it. It is a flat badge, and it is pop metal. This is not as big of a badge as you would think, as I'm sure you guys have all probably figured out where these came from. It's only 3 7/8, just a little bit under 4 inches. So not a big badge, a little over 2 inches tall from the top of the B to the bottom of the shield. So not a big badge, but a pretty darn cool one. Now our second badge for tonight, other than the Auburn badge, slid that one right in on you, didn't I? Like I said, related to the Super 18. That is a Beech 18. It is actually a Beech Super 18. So they actually had a Super 18 metal badge to go along with the Beechcraft. Now, I don't know if these mounted together. These were loose. I found them inside the aircraft after we moved it. So about the same width. So I don't know if these mounted, like this or in two completely different areas. Never have taken time to look. But these are both pop metal, chrome plated, actual Beechcraft emblems off of the twin Beech that we hauled into the yard recently. So that's what we got for emblems tonight. 2 related badges, but 2 totally different things. The Beechcraft with the shield and the Super 18 for that specific aircraft. I was obviously excited when I found these. I found these in an old box that was inside the plane that was just kind of falling apart. I started digging through it, see if there's anything cool, and I found these. Obviously, I was excited. So that's what we've got for badges and emblems tonight. Story time. Story time. We look at some old pictures of cars Dad had years ago. Rebuilt, flipped, things like that. Going to be a little bit different. Any idea when the plane was taken out of service? Not for sure. When you look up the tail number, it was reassigned. The tail number was just reassigned within the last year or two. So I don't know when it was actually damaged. I did see some of those pictures, Buick, man. I did not have time to dig through the details on them, but I did see you did post some cool plane pictures. I need to check those out as well. Just haven't had time yet. So let's grab the scrapbook, go back in time, and check out something a little bit different for story time tonight. We're not going to dig out a file tonight. We're going to check out some cool pictures. I did see the picture of that Texan. I did notice that, Buick, man, as I was scrolling through the page real quick. John getting a lot of buffering. Do we have some feed issues, or is everybody else in pretty good shape? How about a Hudson badge? In the summer of 1978, I would have been 3.5 years old. Dad worked at the local Buick Olds Cadillac dealership, and he wanted to take some pictures of his cars. Summer of 78, so this would have been 46 years ago. Okay, good. Everybody else says they're doing good. Okay, good. Glad most people aren't having any trouble. So maybe you got a connection issue, John, but looks like everybody else is good. So Dad took the cars he had at that time, 46 years ago, took them down to the Buick dealership on the back lot on probably a Sunday afternoon, lined them up, and took some pictures. So that's what we've got tonight. Some of these cars we've talked about, some of them we haven't. 2 of them, Dad still actually owns. So here we go. I don't know how well you guys can make that out. I've got a few other ones. We're going to check them all out, but hopefully you guys can see a lot of these or be able to make a lot of it out. So, obviously, where are we at here? We see the 69 Camaro, 48 Buick Roadmaster. We've talked about the Camaro. We haven't talked about the 48. The 65 Cutlass convertible, we've talked about that. The 62 or 3 Chevy pickup, we've talked about that. 73 Buick Riviera GS, we have not talked about that, but we should do a video on that car as well. That is still in Dad's garage. The red 65 Thunderbird, we've talked about that. And the green 66 Cadillac Calais, we have talked about that as well. Posted up a pic of the Nobody's page of a 4950 Buick emblem picked up at a swap meet. Sweet. I'll see if see which one it is. I'll tell you real quick. Oh, I actually can't get into it, believe it or not. Yeah, I can't get into the Nobody's page because I'm signed in under Nobody Else's Auto. I need to go in under Nobody Else's Auto and get set up in there. Big Job went commercialless. Awesome. Yeah, that's something else. If you guys have missed Rusty Oakey's picks on the Ford pickup that he's been working on, you've got to check that out on the Nobody's page. That is a necessity. So there's one shot of him. Had a couple of other pictures he took. Still has 2 of them. And there's one more we're going to look at after this. You can't see very well, but I'm going to show you one more after this. And we can get into any questions anybody has about any of it. But yes, 2 of these cars Dad does still own, and we could do some videos on them. There's the last picture I want to share with you guys. And it's kind of tough to see. But obviously there's the cars. Yeah, Kenny's getting all the Big Jobs ads. And if you guys can tell right here, there's Mom and Dad. Broke my pen backwards. Dad, Mom, and me and my sister are actually right there. I can't hardly see him in the picture, so I'm sure you guys can't see him on Facebook or on the screen. But that actually was all 4 of us. Summer of 78. Dad still owns this one, the white 48 Roadmaster, and he still owns the burgundy 73 Buick Riviera GS. Now remember, this was summer of 78. This Riviera GS was only a 5-year-old car. So something a little bit different. We didn't dig through a file tonight, but something kind of cool. I would have been 3.5 in the summer of 78. My sister would have been 1.5 years old. But there it was, summer of 78, the lineup. So I've kind of been wanting to do those cars or do those pictures. You know, I don't really remember that. I remember these pictures. Obviously, these pictures have been around forever. And I remember the pictures of the lineup, but I don't really remember going and doing it. So next week, we'll get into some more files and do some more digging, but I didn't want to miss those. I know a lot of these cars we have talked about. The Riviera is actually never been touched. That car was actually the dealership where those pictures were taken at. It still exists, and that's where Dad worked at the time. That Riviera was sold new at that dealership in 73, and it was traded back in a couple years later. I don't know when Dad bought it, probably 76 maybe, and has had it ever since. Those are a lineup that Dad took of Dad's cars in summer of 1978, Alec. That's what those pictures were of. So we'll give you one more look at it real quick of the lineup. But yeah, that Riviera, as it sits right there, is still exactly as it sits today in one of his shops. Pretty highly optioned car, no sunroof, and it did not have buckets and floor shift. It had 60/40 power. So that's about the only options that car did not have was sunroof, and it had 60/40 power instead of buckets and console. Bought it in 77. Okay. So that car has been around. It was 4 years old when Dad bought it, sold new at that dealership, serviced new at the dealership, traded it back in 77, and Dad's had it ever since. It's original paint, original interior. Nothing's ever been touched on it. It's not perfect because it's completely original, but it is an untouched 73 Riviera GS that's never left Great Bend, Kansas. So So that's one we probably should definitely get out and do a video on. It's a pretty unique car. Obviously, boat-tail Rivieras have gotten extremely popular. Just about like Buick Man Centurion, it's loaded up too. So, but it's, you know, like I said, boat-tail Rivs. How many miles are on it? I think it's under 100,000. I don't remember for sure. Maybe Dad kind of has an idea. There's Bill Disc. Bill Disc put some cool stuff on the Nobody's page this week. You guys might want to check that out. So we ought to dig that out. I know that car needs to get out anyway. One of these days we'll do a full video on it. Obviously, there's been some custom boat tails built over the last several years. Their popularity has soared because of some of those custom builds. There's been a lot of cars highly restored, but this car's never been touched, never been monkeyed with. Dad said he thinks it's got around 92,000 on it. And I remember from 77 up until 79 or 80, that was kind of our daily driver. I do kind of remember riding in that car regularly. So a little under 100,000 miles on it. And so it's not perfect, but like I said, it's untouched, unmolested. Nothing's ever been changed on it. Pretty cool piece. The Chevy pickup was a 62, I believe, Joe. I think that was a 62. We looked at that one night, I think, several months ago, but I think it was at 62. But I bet we're probably going to have a file on that pickup coming up soon, so we'll get those pictures back out and do a little more deeper digging. Gordon's here from Mount Morris, Michigan. Raffle. Let's talk about the raffle, and then let's give away another badge or emblem out of the raffle bucket, and then we're going to sell some cool stuff. Then we're going to do some magazine stuff. So we got a lot of. It was 60. That says it was 62. Okay. All right, let's grab the raffle can. A few more names in the can this week. This week, Adam Briggs, Tim Breran, and Austin McCoy added their names to the big Buick oil can. You bet, John. That's why we do it. So let's give away an extra badge. Now, if you guys remember, we had a viewer send us some killer viewer boxes here recently with a ton of emblems in them. I sorted them out. There's a few that I wanted. We're going to give some of these away to you in some drawings. Been on a Mopar kick lately. Let's give away some more of these Mopar emblems out of the Big Fleet bonus drawing can. Adam made it. Getting a little low in here. Need to restock. But we got a few more left to give away out of these Mopar badges. And let's give away. Whoops. Let's not drop it if we're going to give it away. Let's do some more digging, shuffling around here a bit. Sebring. Gray kitty fur on it. Let's give away a Sebring badge. This is a metal badge, but it was a taped on badge, probably early 70s era. And let's give it to Bill Disc. Let's add that one to Bill Disc's pile. Now, as always, these bonus raffles do not ship by themselves. They will ship with either your next big raffle winning or your next auction purchase. Waycamp's here. Or I guess worst case scenario, Bill Disc said he's coming back for the next gathering in the Nobody's next spring. So maybe we'll give it to him then. I bet he gets something in between now and then. So, Bill Disc's name on the Sebring badge. Let's put this off to the side. And as always, these bonus drawings do not affect you in the overall. So Bill Disc's name going right back in the big Buick oil can for the overall drawing for the original 1941 Texaco Fire Chief pump plate. I need to get some Texaco cans out to go with that, but going to be a fun drawing this month. Let me get all this stuff put back away. And I guess it's auction time. You guys want to do some auction stuff tonight? Who's up for auction time? Usually most of you guys are pretty excited about auction time. Let's get some things ready here. We're getting some thumbs up and everybody's ready to rock and roll. Bill, this has been having some good luck with the Buick can lately. Yep. Rusty Okie is definitely ready to go. Let's give everybody a Hudson badge to think about it. And let's give everybody an Auburn badge to double think about it while we're getting ready for the auction. And as always, we will hold up a piece. We'll talk about that piece. We'll talk about that car. We'll point out any damage to the piece. We'll give you some dimensions on it. We'll give you an idea of what we're talking about on size-wise. After we get done with the description, double thinking about it. Rusty Okie double thinking about it. That's how serious this project is getting. After we get done with the description on the piece, we will put it on a timer. We will go 2 minutes. I will make an announcement when we hit 1 minute. And then I will also give you the minute 30 mark. Now, like we've talked about before, once we hit the minute 30 mark and I tell you a minute 30 is gone, there's only 30 seconds left to go, it is time to hit it with your maximum bid. Everybody has a delay. Some of you guys, it's 3 or 4 seconds. Some of you guys, it's 20 or 25 seconds. That depends on your device, PC, smart TV, tablet, phone, and as well as your internet provider. So it's a good time to hit refresh, make sure you are current and up to speed, and hopefully eliminate some of that delay. At the end of 2 minutes, the high bid that I see on one of my screens, whether it is YouTube or Facebook, I will announce as the winner. All I can do is go by what I see on my screens. Sometimes you guys see stuff differently than I do. Like I said, there's the 1 minute mark. I can go by what I see, so that's what I'm reading. I will read the first few items. I will read all the bids as they pop up so you guys can get an idea of where we are at. After we get past the first 2 or 3 items, I will probably just recognize the high bid if we have several bids come in at the same time. Glenn's brother loves his toy fire truck. Awesome. Perfect. That's why we do this. Pete is already sighting in. Ooh. A friend of mine just found a really cool bike tag for me. Can't wait to see that. I'll have to share that with you guys. So, sounds like everybody's ready to go. Let's get some stuff rounded up here. We've got some relist stuff that didn't get paid for from a couple months ago. We'll start off with a few of those pieces and maybe a cheaper license plate. Get everybody up to speed, get everybody in the groove, and get everybody figuring out where their delays are at and see what's going to happen as we get rolling into tonight's auctions. Kevin is ready. How about I get ready and round some of this stuff up, get it piled up over here, hopefully not have a leg cramp and be on the floor for the next 5 minutes in agonizing pain, but we'll see how it goes. If you guys hear me screaming for mustard and climbing to the fridge because somebody said take a shot of mustard, it helps, you'll know what I'm doing. Hopefully we don't have to do that. We got a lot of hearts rolling, though. That's awesome. All right, let's round some stuff up. Let's start selling it. All right, I think we got a good enough pile to work with for a while. If we run out, I'll go dig some more out of the rest of the pile because there's a big pile in here. Cramp cam, yeah. I'll tell you what, that night, guys, that hit, that was bad. I was like trying not to scream so you guys didn't know what was going on, but man, that was bad. All right, where do we want to start off with? Let's sell a brochure that we sold a few months ago that didn't get paid for. So we'll just resell this. Well, in fact, we'll start off with a couple of relist pieces and keep moving our way through some stuff. Ads, imagine that. That's a good point. John may get a few views with a tub full of mustard, but all right. Let's start off with a sales brochure. This is a great piece. You guys, it just didn't come through on it, so something for our Chevrolet fans. And this was a single. We ended up selling as a single because everybody got excited for it, but we didn't get paid on it, so we're going to rerun it again on the full-size 1971 Chevrolet sales brochure. Now, if you guys remember, that's been several months ago that we did this. Look inside this thing. Check out the color on these ads. It would be some kind of content. You're right. And if this is not 1971, literally being transported back in time, I don't know what is. So we're not going to go through every page. We're going to hit some of the high spots. Leave some of these for some prizes of whoever is the winner. The overall lineup. That you're exactly right, John. You can smell the inside of that car. There is no doubt about it. I don't know if you did or not. I actually had several of them that didn't get paid for from last week, which isn't a big deal. I don't worry about it because we, as long as we're not 2 months out, I don't worry about it. Options for the 71 Chevy. And then it actually gives you breakdowns, engines and transmissions. So let's see what engines we could get in 71. 350, 350, 400, or a 454. So anyway, this sold by itself last time. If we don't get any bids on it, we'll mix some other stuff in with it. On the 1971 Chevrolet, let me give you a size on it because it is 9 by 11, so a little bit bigger than a sheet of paper. And then, of course, so when you fold it out, that's 22 inches. So anyway, if nobody wants it individually this time, we will do something different with it next time. Michael is going to start us off at 10, and it's a cool piece, and it's well worth that. So, yeah, no problem, Big Job. Not a big deal. Let's get it on the timer. Michael Glagola at 10. We do have live money. We are ready to go on the 1971 Chevy sales brochure. Which we had a bunch of bids on it last time, so I figured there would be at least a little bit of interest still selling it individually. Dennis, 16. Jeff's got a 10, but I had Michael at 10, and I got Dennis at 16, probably an old bid. That's why we do this, though. That's why I read them as I see them, because we don't know where the delays are at. But Dennis at 16 as of right now. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Dennis at 16. John, 18. Oh, by the way, the interior shot is not scratch and sniff. I know we can all smell it, but it's not actually scratch and sniff. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. We all know what it smells like, but it actually isn't scratch and sniff, which would actually be kind of cool. So, John at 18. Dennis, 22. Michael at 19. I've got Dennis at 22. As we're getting ready to wind this one down. Few seconds left. Dennis at 22. And that does it. Dennis Chapman at 22. John had a 25 in there, but it was too late. All right, another rerun on a little grease cap. One of the smaller ones, not one of the really cool high dollar ones, but like I said, needs to go into somebody's collection. Just got lost in the cracks a few months ago on somebody's payment. So we're going to sell it again on this Overland cap. This is all stamped in here. This is aluminum. It is a small one, probably a teens. David's here. 2.5 inches in diameter. And 1 3/4 inches across the hex. I'm going to have me one of them lemon drops that Pete sent me. Ones are actually made this decade, which is kind of handy. Because something's itchy in my throat for some reason. So, back to the little aluminum Overland grease cap. You can look in the back. This is internal thread. See the Overland stamped in it. Teens era, probably. This is a smaller one. Our resident expert on really early cars, Alex, who's opening us up at 15, would probably give us an idea. This is definitely a teens era piece. So, Leo's here. Glad Leo made it back. Let's get rolling on the timer on the Overland grease cap. They were good, yeah, for sure. John at 10, but I've already got Alex at 15, so that must have been, once again, we must have some delays hanging in there. Alex agrees this is probably a mid-teens era piece. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Way camp at 18. A minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. Way camp at 18. Coming out of the end, Way camp at 18. Any other bidders on the Overland grease cap? Alex at 21. 100-plus-year-old piece. Couple seconds left. Alex at 21, and that does it. Alex at 21. Got some plates tonight. We'll start off with kind of not a super rare one. We got some really killer plates tonight, too. This one actually is kind of weird. The year is kind of not clear on it, but it does say 1972 on it when we look at the very far corner, but it's not very prominent either. I don't know anything about it because we're going all the way back to Pennsylvania. And what's interesting about it, it is a commercial plate, and it is actually stamped in it. This is all embossed, stamped into the metal. Apparently the yellow was painted first, and then the blue was added to it on the lower areas on the front. Leo at 10. It's a standard size plate, roughly 6 by 12. The blue's pretty decent. It's kind of wrinkly. I don't know if it was kind of banged up a little bit, but it was a PA commercial plate from 72. If we look back here on the backside, we can kind of very lightly see where the 72 was stamped. I'm sure this had a sticker on it, or was supposed to have had a sticker on it. This one probably never got it, because obviously it's not peeled back like somebody had scraped it off there. So it's a little over 50 years old. It is a commercial plate on PA. Let's get this thing going on the timer and get ready to go. Leo at 10. Devin's here. One minute gone. Leo at 10. Figure we had a few fans from back east interested in some of this stuff. Coming up on a minute 30. Minute 30 gone. 30 seconds left to go. Leo only at $10. Bill Disc 12. Adam at 12. I'd Bill Disc a second before that. Big Job 13. Michael Gagola 14. Couple seconds left. Michael at 14. And that did it. Michael Gagola at 14. Adam had a 15. Lee had a 15. Big Job had a 15. And they were all too late. Michael at 14. How about a cap? Anyone else do a cap? This one's kind of banged up, but it almost kind of adds to it, Hudson Bad. Because where the logo is stamped in this cap still looks great. So the damage is kind of around the perimeter. The logo still looks great. On this late 40s, early 50s era GMC. Obviously, they got a little too close to the curb on this one. It is original paint, or does appear to be original paint. We can see the fading in the red on the GMC. I believe this is a half-ton cap. Overall diameter on it is about 9 7/8. It is a metal back cap. Balin wire 25 on the scuffed up but killer wall hanger GMC cap. Balin wire kicking us off at 25. Let's roll with it. Them some tasty lemon drops. Now I just want another one. Rico at 30. John, 35. Got some GMC fans out there. Coming up on that 1 minute mark. 1 minute gone, 1 minute left to go. John Sanderson at 35. Rico, 40. Minute 30 gone. 30 seconds left to go. John, 43. About ready to wind this one up. John at 43. And that does it. John Sanderson at 43. Rico came back a little late on that one. Oh, another lemon drop. Those are kind of tasty. How about we do an oil can? Not the good can I got, but we're going to start off with this one. But it is an actual metal can, and it's in great shape. Let's have an Auburn badge while we're thinking about it. This is full, so I will have to drain it unless you're picking it up. Some of you guys do pick up, so if you do, I won't drain it. If I've got to ship it, I will have to drain it. On this metal, old school, round metal Quaker State quart. Like I said, it's still full, so it is new old stock. It does have a little surface rust on the top. We can see the seam over here. Fat thumbs, that happens, Rico. With some information on the back. So it's got a little bit of paint loss up here, but this is an original new metal quart Quaker State, probably 60s era, I'm guessing. New in the can, Quaker State HD oil. On the top, on the bottom, it's empty. Glenn remember jamming spouts into a lot of these, I bet so. If I have to ship it, I'll have to poke a couple small holes in the bottom. Otherwise, you know, it's got a weight on here, but you're right. That's another good point, Alex. Just heavy oil. It's kind of got a weight stamped in it up here. It's kind of hard to see. There we go, 2020, but not very obvious. 69 to 72, Glenn remembers them. Alex at 10 on the Quaker State metal quart. Getting us started in the cans before we get into a couple of these really good ones here in a little bit. Let's go. We're on the timer. Coming on the 1 minute mark. This one may go into Alex's box cheap. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Alex at 10. Dean at 12. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. About ready to wind this one down. Dean at 12. Alex, 15. About ready to wind it up. And that'll do it. Alex at 15. Kevin had a 22, but it was a hair too late. Kevin literally missed that by like 1 second. You need to back up and shoot a second and a half earlier, Kevin, and you're good to go. How about a couple of toys? We haven't done any toys tonight. Now, these look like Tootsies, but they're not. When I look at the bottom of them, it looks like it says Manoil, Manoil, made in the USA. Manoil, and these are small die-cast toy trucks similar to a Tootsie. We're going to sell you a pair of these trucks. Same company, same size, but completely different trucks. So, no problem, Alex. I'll get her in your box. Starting off with the Manoil fire truck. 40s era, I'm going to call it. This is all one cast piece, so the ladder and everything is all kind of cast into it. Killer looking nose on this thing. We can see the hose on the back. Bottom side still has tires and wheels on it. They appear to be the originals. And I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, but right up under here, it says Manoil. Glenn at 12. Alan at 10. Going along with the Manoil fire truck is also a Manoil tanker. Check out the Art Deco flowing lines on this bad boy. Dean, 14. Super cool nose. Definitely 40s era. Glenn at 20. These were both red originally. Most of the paint is chipped off. However, no physical damage to the trucks. The bumpers aren't chipped off. The corners aren't chipped on them. Tires and wheels appear to be original. So other than the paint issues, these do appear to be an original pair of Manoil, whatever that means, trucks. These are four and a half inches long. One fire truck, one tanker, awesome lines. I'm saying they're 40s era. Super cool trucks. Let's get them on the timer. Glenn at 22 is my current high bidder. You are getting the pair. They stopped making toy cars in 59. 37 to 59 was the Manoil company. Dean at 23 after giving us that information. Glenn, 24. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. Love the lines on that tanker. Bidding badge, that bidding badge. 1 minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Lots of interest in these. You're getting the pair Glenn at 24. Killer little toy trucks. Not much info out there on them. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought they were, I mean, the fire truck has cool lines. The tanker truck has amazing lines. I do know one thing. I know in 30 seconds, these will have a new owner. 30 seconds left. You're getting the pair. One money. Glenn at 24. Coming down to the wire. Few seconds left. Glenn at 28, making sure he covers himself. And it worked. Glenn at 28. Now there's another bid in there that I haven't seen yet, but they are cool little trucks. There is no doubt about it. Getting hooked on these lemon drops. Let's catch another plate. This one, another out-of-state plate. Going up north to Illinois, up into the Rust Belt. And this one survived miraculously all the way from 1955. Great-looking plate considering this plate is almost 70 years old. Look at the colors on this thing. Nice and shiny. Kind of a deep blue with orange letters. Backside even looks pretty clean. It's got a little bit of surface rust back here, but not terrible considering this thing came out of the Rust Belt. Illinois had really thin, flimsy tags. Never really understood that. Alex starting us off at 20 on the 1955 Illinois plate. The Land of Lincoln, let's go ahead and get this one on the timer. Dean at 20 as well. I had Alex first, but it probably isn't going to matter by the time we get done with this. It is almost the Bears colors. That's a good point. Martin at 22 breaks up that tie as we hit the timer and go live. Flimsy like the politicians. That's one way to put it. Big job. Alex at 25. As we're working our way to that 1 minute mark. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Martin, 26. I don't remember if I hit this one or not. I don't think I did. It doesn't look like I did because I see a few water spots on it. And typically, if I polish them, I don't have water spots on them, so I don't think I did. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. And you're right, because you're right, John. Some of them I do polish, but this one, it doesn't look like I did. And there's no compound in the little spots of surface rust either. Typically, we would see a little compound in the surface rust area. Martin at 26 with just a few seconds left to go. And that does it. Another one heading to Martin's plate collection at 26. Alex had a 28 in there, but it was a little bit too late. How about a horn button? We haven't done a horn button yet tonight, and this one's killer. This is a cool one. I've already got it, or I would not be selling this one for sure. No doubt about it. Nice, good color in it. Plastic piece from the early 50s from our friends at Kaiser. Dished in the middle. It actually does have a dip right in here. When you see the clear plastic on the edge, you can see the K where it's cast in the back of this. Red center, chrome K, nice deep black ring surrounding it. Cool looking piece. Definitely one of the better horn buttons we've seen in a while. It's about 3 1/8 inches in diameter to the outside perimeter. That's the full outside, not the insert part where it goes in. Good looking piece. Already had some cool comments on it. Where are we going with it? On the Kaiser horn button. Alex at 10 starting us off as we hit the timer. ID on it is 2 5/8. 2 5/8 on this inside diameter. Rico, 25. As we're ticking away to that 1 minute mark. 1 minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Ergonomically designed, that's right. Coming up on the minute 30 mark, Rico at 25. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. Rico at 25. About ready to wind things down. Rico at 25. And that'll do it. Rico at 25. Pete had a 37 in there at 2:01. Kevin had a 29. All too late. Kevin had a 40. Holy cow. Talk about sneaking out of there, Rico. Everybody was shooting at you. Wow. You duck really, really good. All right, who wants to see a killer oil can? Condition-wise, mediocre. I'm going to show it to you. It's going to have a minimum bid, which is probably too much, but I like it. I've got one a little better than this. I will put a rougher one next to my better one and not be upset about that at all. It is a metal cork. It is not one you see very often. It's a little rough. It's a little banged up. It's missing some color. It's missing some graphics. But just to come across one that still you can still see the graphics on it is definitely something. It is a Pennzoil can. It is a metal can. And from here, it doesn't look that exciting. We can see the seam on it right there. So where it was punched. And when they punched it, they actually stabbed it halfway through the side, too. So I want 75 bucks out of it, is what I want out of it. And here's why. It doesn't look like much from here, but this is a Pennzoil owl can. I don't know if you guys have seen these or not. They don't come up very often. We have not had any. John said he must have opened this one. It's not going to upset me a bit if nobody's interested in it. I don't know if it's worth that. I don't know if it's worth less than that, more than that. I know a good one can be several $100s. So I thought I'd throw it up here. If there's interest, we'll sell it. If there's not, I'll put it back I'll put it back with mine. Doesn't hurt my feelings one way or the other. These owl cans are so hard to find. This one we can at least still see the outline of the owl, including part of the owl. We can still make out the Pennzoil on this side over here. Just about got the owl with the spout, but fortunately they did miss it. Bottom is still intact. Need no lemon drop. But obviously nobody likes it more than me at this point. And that's the thing, John. That's why I mean, like I said, I may be too high, I may be too cheap. I don't know. I know there's several hundred if they're pretty decent ones. Alan's in at 75. I almost thought I was going to be able to sneak out of here without this, but Alan's in at 75. So I guess that means we got to put it on the timer and see what happens. I don't know what years these were. I just know they're hard to find. But Alan's starting it at 75, so we'll see what happens. Could be 40s. I mean, the Pennzoil logo is obviously fairly early on it. Does have the seal on it over here on the other side. And we're rolling. Alan may be our only guy, but it's a cool can. These are hard to find, so. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Ticking away, coming up on that minute 30 mark. And there's the minute 30 mark. 30 seconds left to go. It may just be Alan. Like I said, I don't know. You know. Yeah, like I said, yeah, that's what I meant, Tony. If these have more of the owl here, they're easily $200 or $300. So that's why I still wanted fairly decent money out of this one, even though it's missing part of the owl. About ready to wrap this one up. Alan at 75. Austin at 76, and that does it. Austin at 76. Didn't even see that one coming. Holy cow. He got her in there and got it done. Austin at 76. Shouldn't have started on these lemon drops. How about we do another can? Anybody want to do another can? Not near as much of a... I will put a minimum on this, but it's not near as much. But these are typically pretty popular cans anyway. Condition-wise is mediocre on this one. Let's call this one $40. Starting bid of $40 for our tractor fans out there. Yeah, lemon drops for Nutter Butters. Genuine John Deere power steering oil. This is an old metal quart can. Does have some surface rust on it. We've got some loss on the backside, not very clear. The front side on this one, pretty decent. We do still have the Deere logo on it. Obviously, very nice, bright yellow and green colors. I think somebody put a new top on it because the top is shiny, but the bottom is surface rust. So I bet somebody cut the top out of this, and we're using it for bolts or something, and somebody put a different lid on it. So Weston at 10, but I got a minimum of 40 on this one because it is John Deere. It is have great colors. So anybody in on the John Deere power steering fluid quart? This is a metal quart. We can see the seam over here. Packed expressly for John Deere, which kind of weird. It just says John Deere. Doesn't say John Deere Corporation or anything. Just plain flat John Deere on it. So, anybody in at 40 on the Deere can? Pappy's calling this one 50s. That would probably make sense. Or we'll put it back in the pile. We'll do something with it later. That's the way I understand it. Power steering oil. So I would assume that's what it is. All right. Nobody at 40. We'll throw her back down here and do something with it later. How about a plate? Going up north again to the Rust Belt, and considering this plate's out of the Rust Belt and it's 80 plus years old, looks great. And it's an odd shape, an odd size too. Minnesota 1941. Look at the sixes on this thing. Kind of some funky shaped sixes. I think this was kind of silver, but it's got kind of a goldish tint to it. I don't know if something was spilled on it or what happened to it. Great Kitty, what are you doing? $10 by 5 3/8 on this 1941 Minnesota plate. It's in really nice condition. It's nice and flat. Like I said, it looks like it was silver, but it looks like it had some yellowish, like almost like a clear coat on it that's turning yellow or something. So not really sure why it looks kind of yellow, but I think it was a silver plate with black letters. Alex starting us off at 30 on the 1941 Minnesota plate. Obviously in pretty good shape, other than I don't know if like I said if this was a clear or what it was. It looks kind of yellowish on it. Alex starting us off at 30. We are on the timer and we're going. It's a unique looking piece. Kind of like funky sixes, different size. Frank's got to jump off. Glad you were here tonight, Frank. Great Kitty, what are you doing in the auction boxes? One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Alex at 30. Alex may be our only Minnesota collector on here. They do look like gas pump panels. That's a good call. Just like Pete said. Minute 30 gone. 30 seconds left to go. Alex at 30. Alex came out swinging on this one. We'll see if anybody else wants to jump in there with him. Just about ready to wrap this one up. Nobody's jumping in there to tangle with Alex. And that does it. Alex came out swinging right out of the gate and wrapped it up right away. What? What are you doing? What? 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 You got to come over here? I got too much stuff in the way. You coming over? You don't know what to do with all this stuff here, do you? Come here, Gray Kitty. Come here. Addie wants to see you. Yes, come here. I got you, Gray Kitty. Yes, Addie wants to see you. Yes, there's our Gray Kitty. Ow! You got your claw right in my fingernail, goofball. Yes, see? Say hi to everybody one more time. Yeah, say hi to everybody one more time. Can you say hi? Say hi. You're getting kind of chunky. You're getting kind of chunky. Yes. Okay. All right, let's get back to the auction. How are you going to get out of here? There's too much auction stuff here. Yes, you don't know what to do you? I got to sell these guys some more cool stuff. Yes, we got to sell some more cool stuff. You're getting fat. You're getting fat. Yes. You're getting fat. Hop down. Hop down. I got to get more stuff. There you go. Yeah, doing an encore. How about another cap? For our Ford fans, 60s era Ford truck cap. It looks like it's kind of tweaked, but it's original. I think it's original paint, killer display piece. Yeah, she was skin and bones after she disappeared for a few months, but she's made up for that. And she got her claw right on the edge of my fingernail. Holy cow. Dummy, what'd you do that for? For our Ford truck fans, mid-60s era pickup cap, original paint, few scuffs, few scratches, but original condition, killer display piece because I think it's kind of tweaked a little bit. Check this baby out. Metal cap, painted, white, red inserts. Diameter on this, 10 5/8. Kind of comes to a peak here in the middle. Good looking cap. Devin at 20. Nice looking piece. Like I said, I think it's tweaked. I don't know how well it would stay on a wheel because it's something just, I didn't like lay a straight edge across it, but something doesn't look right with it. Devin at 20, Alan at 10. Let's get this thing going. Devin Bradley at 20. Good looking piece. I think it's pickup. Devin at 20. John, 22. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. John Anderson, 23. As we hit the minute 30 mark. Devin, 26. Allen, 25. Devin at 26. Few seconds left. Anybody going to take any other shots? I've got Devin at 26. Big Job at 29. Kevin at 30. Pete at 29. Kevin at 30. And that does it. Kevin L. at 30. Tons of bids, but at the 2 minute mark, Kevin L. at 30. Holy cow, that was a shooting match there at the end. It was kind of tricky keeping track of it. Kevin L. hasn't got one lately. I was excited for him. And at the 2 minute mark, him at 30, Kevin L. at 30 is what we had. Let's catch another plate. A little bit rougher, but super cool and super old. Going back a little over 90 years. Condition is only fair, but sometimes that's good because, that sometimes that gives guys who maybe don't want to spend as much money on the really nice plates, gives them a chance to get some cool old ones. Although this one does have a pretty darn killer look to it as well. Going back to 1933 in Kansas, this is one of the long skinny plates. County 85, plate number 763. Originally blue with white lettering. We've got some paint loss and some surface rust over here on the county on the 85 number. The 763 in the can 33 still looks pretty decent. Original blue plate, white lettering. Backside still has a decent amount of the blue paint on it as well. And this is one of the long, skinny Kansas plates like we do occasionally. 14 3/8 by 4 3/8. 14 3/8, 4 3/8. They use these plates from 31 to 37. Is when Kansas used these long, narrow, skinny plate. Hey, what are you doing, Gray Kitty? Tearing stuff up. So, on the 1933 Kansas plate, paint loss and surface rust on the county. The rest of it looks pretty decent. 3-digit, Kansas 33, Alex at 25. And let's see what happens on this one. Is Alex going to snag another early plate, or do we have anybody else out there? We are live and on the timer. Michael at 22, but I've already got Alex at 25 kicking us off. Ticking away. Gray Kitty got a cramp? Nah, she was just scratching on stuff. What are you doing, Kitty? She found something she's playing with. Michael, 26. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Michael at 26. 130 gone. 30 seconds left to go. Pappy, 27. Pappy at 27. We've still got a few seconds left. See if anybody else slides in on Pappy. Alex at 30. Coming down to the wire, Alex at 30. And that does it. Another early piece going into Alex Kalish's box. All right. Oh, Devin, I've still got a few of yours here too. I just haven't had time to dig your address out. So I've got them sitting out there ready to ship. I just got to find time to try to find your address. Let's see what else. You want to do any more auctions? Or we want to get into the magazine. You guys tell me what we want to do from here. I think I want another lemon drop though. Holy cow, I'm getting addicted to these things. Are these habit forming? I'm starting to wonder. Everybody's just squeeze a few more in. Awesome, Devin. That'd be great. All right. Here's kind of a cool piece. No, they're not CBD lemon drops. I'm pretty sure of that. Pete found them. They are best choice. Candy shop. Oh, I don't want to read the calories or anything like that. That's a bad idea. Michael's ready for the magazine. Let's catch maybe two more pieces, then we'll get to the magazine. So, well, shoot, I got two pieces laying right here. Let's do these. One's a rerun, one isn't. One more grease cap, one more horn button. We did this grease cap a while back. Didn't get paid for, but it was kind of unique. And what was unique about it, not an extremely rare one, but the way it looked helped tell its story. Early 30s Chevrolet that had been painted on. I'm sure you guys are going to remember this one. The Chevrolet logo looks very nice. Red paint still on this thing. Because back then, at some point, this was an old used car. Nobody cares. They were probably painting the wheels. They painted the whole thing. The hex portion of this is on the back side of the circle. We can see the internal threads on it. We can see the bow tie in there. This one actually looked like it got a little close to the nut on the inside. The nice part about this is the red paint kind of makes it pop based on telling its story. And the Chevrolet badge is nice and crisp and clear on it. It's 3.5 across on the face. So, where's our Chevrolet fans at on the Chevrolet grease cap? Those lemon drops are almost too big to suck on them for a minute, kind of get the size down on them. That could be true, Big Job. I'm going to have to be real careful about that. Ads. Okay. We'll get through the ads and see if anybody's in on the grease cap. If not, we'll do something different. I don't know if it's just Matt or if anybody else has ads. Kenny starting us off at 5. Let's go ahead and sell it. What the heck, right? Brush and floss, yeah, for sure. Let's roll with it. Kenny starting us off at 5. I better be careful. Matt, 7. 1 minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Coming up on the minute 30 mark, Matt going to sneak out here for $7 on a grease cap. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. Austin at 10. Tony at 10. Johnny Z at 15. Few seconds left. Michael at 11. Johnny Z at 15. Austin at 16. And that does it. Austin at 16. All right, one more, then we're going to get into the magazine. One more horn button, mainly because when you said do a couple more, there was a horn button and a grease cap laying here on the desk. So, another piece for our Ford fans. 60s era Ford Econoline. Good looking button, nice and shiny, has a metal back on it. The big O in the middle for Econoline, the Ford lettering across the perimeter around the top. 4 inches in diameter on the Ford Econoline horn button, probably from the 60s, maybe late 60s, early 70s, but I'm sure it's no newer than that body style. Alan at 10, big job at 10 on the Ford Econoline horn button. Had Allen first, but I don't think a 10 is going to hold on this deal anyway. Pretty cool piece for our Ford fans. And we are live and going on the timer. I heard Gray Kitty doing something over there. 2 $10 bids, and that was it on an Econoline button. Let's see what happens here. We're coming up on the 1 minute mark, but I didn't figure that $10 was going to hold, but maybe it will. I don't know. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. I had Allen and Big Job both at 10 at the same time. Pete, 15. And there's the minute 30 mark. Pete at 15. Pete's got a whole rack of these things. Kyle at 12. I got Pete at 15 already. Coming out of the end on this one, Pete at 15. Few seconds left to go. Matt, 16. And that does it. Matt, 16. Kevin L at 20, a little bit too late. All right. I think we'll wrap the auctions up for tonight and get back into our magazine. Perfect, Austin. Sounds good. All right. As always, that was a ton of fun. Thanks to you guys for being great sports and having fun with that. and adding some cool stuff to your collection. So anyway, moving on. We've been bouncing around a little bit, but last week we went back to it. Thought we would touch on it again this week. And then probably next week we'll move on to something a little bit different again as we work our way through. Going back to our 1913 issue of Automobile Trade Journal. We've seen some awesome stuff in here. We're going to check out a few more awesome pages in it once again yet tonight. Once again, we keep Kevin's business card right here, ready to go. And remember last week we talked about the Overland for 1914. So that's where we were at, talking about the new and improved and the changes coming for Overland in 1914. So we're going right past that to the next page after the article about the 1914 Overland. And we're going to learn a little bit in this ad about the National Motor Vehicle Company. Yes, there was a vehicle called the National in 1913. Announcement of another series of national cars, the Series V3. No pictures in this one, unfortunately, but I will show you the picture so you can show you the logo. And then we'll see what they have to say about the new V3 from National. Only one car is better than a National, and that is a better National. And I don't remember if we talked about the National last week or not. I know we talked about the Overland, but I didn't remember if we got to the National. But we're going to catch it again real quick. The V3 is these cars that are best the National Company has ever built. Improved Series V succeeded the Series V. And now comes a perfected V3 on the National. David's jumping off. Once a National owner, always a National owner. 5 models, $2,750 to $3,400. That was a ton of money in 1913. So the National, that's probably why we don't know a lot about them today. $2,750 to $3,400 in the era when a Model T, and Alex can clarify this. What was a Model T in 1914, Alex? Around $600 or $700. You know, Alex will know this. That's right in his wheelhouse. But the National was $2,750 to $3,400. So obviously, this would have been a luxury type car, I'm guessing, at that price for that time period. So, see if Alex can clarify that for us or not as we get ready to move to another very interesting ad. Once again, all text, but a pretty cool ad. The next ad for the Apple Electric Company, 69 Canal Street, Dayton, Ohio. The Apple Electric Company. Now we think of Apple now, and this is what we think of, obviously. But back in 1913 era, the Apple Electric Company says the dealer should demand there's a new slant to automobile selling and service to customers, something that has developed in the last year. You know what this is, of course, the question of electrical equipment. Now, we think of today where we have all these onboard computers, multiple computers, bus system, CCI bus system talking back and forth to each other, wiring harnesses made out of a gajillion miles of wiring running through these vehicles. In 1913, we're just talking about electrifying an automobile. But do you realize your unlimited power, your ability to control the situation to meet your customers' needs? You have the right to say what starter and lighting system go into every car you sell, no matter what its stock equipment is. Make use of the right every time. Make it help give the buyer the best equipment, the one that will give him the least trouble and the best service. So let's see what it has to say. Your best way to sell any customer a second car is to help him reduce troubles on the first car he buys. The less he has, the more likely he is to build up a frame of mind that will associate you with his next purchase. AppleCo, APLCO, I'm sure, which is short for Apple Electric Company, is the best, the most efficient, the most reliable that can be installed in any car. You can insist on AppleCo equipment for 1914 deliveries. It will save complaints about less thoroughly tested and proven systems if you do it every time. The AppleCo system is amateur-proof. When once installed, it is a guarantee of no comeback to the dealer. The battery is always fully charged. It cannot be undercharged, no matter how many starts are made in the course of a day. Nor can the battery be injured by overcharge. There are no gears to push in and out of mesh, and consequently no sticking of the pinions. No danger of injury to the system through ignorance of electrical matters. The AppleCo equipment has been scientifically developed with repeated tests under the direction of Vincent G. Apple himself. Mr. Apple is a pioneer in the whole electric starter idea. Obviously, his outfit is not the hurriedly designed to meet the demand kind. Many engineers now agree that his idea is the right one. 24 volts for starting, 6 volts for lighting, ignition, and signaling. From the small compact control of the AppleCo electric system, the driver can start his motor, switch lights on or off, dim his headlights, lock the starter, lights, and horn, test flow of current, light his dash. This controller is the last word in simplicity and convenience. It typifies the whole AppleCo equipment business. Simple, businesslike, and positive. The Apple Electric Company, Dayton, Ohio. All right here. Unfortunately, no killer pictures, but just reading that really puts you in that place in time that this was a big deal, huge deal going into 1914. Now, this next little tidbit, these next couple pages are kind of interesting. These are actually what we would know of today. Yeah, that's kind of right. I was home, Pete. There would have been a picture. These are kind of a letters to the editor type section in this magazine. The mechanical and technical department. So let's catch a few of these tidbits of what readers were asking. One of the first ones, the future of cycle cars. What is your opinion of the future for cycle cars? Now, I love looking at stuff like this because we know now cycle cars never really took off. However, we look at the side-by-sides and things of today, and those are kind of an extension of them. But cycle cars in and of themselves back in the teens never really did take off. The answer from the editor. The future of the cycle car as a competitor of the motorcycle is doubtless quite large. A cycle car need not weigh much more than a motorcycle with a sidecar, nor cost much more, and it is a far more comfortable vehicle to ride in, and therefore will meet the needs of a much larger class of people. The Automobile Trade Journal, the automobile trade has been very fortunate in that it has been led out of practical lines by the wealthy class, who are willing to buy the biggest and fastest rig they could find. The next class, anxious to imitate the leaders, bought likewise, with the result that many vehicles have been produced which are entirely unsatisfactory to the needs of their users. Sanity is beginning to express itself, and the car of the future will be much more smaller than at present. Now, we've got to take ourselves back 110 years. And when we take ourselves back 110 years, it says right here, cycle cars will continue to thrive because people are going to want smaller cars. Well, obviously, as we went up forward through the 40s and 50s, cars got larger and larger and larger. We were well into, or actually, excuse me, right at the end of the 50s, going into the 60s, before people started looking at smaller cars once again. So there again, not necessarily a true statement from what we know now, but we're looking back with 2020 hindsight, which is so cool about going through these magazines and learning about it now. All Kenny could find on National was a national race car broke world records at the Indianapolis State Fairgrounds in 1905. Yeah, no kidding. Those corn dogs are definitely catching up. And that's where they were out of, Kenny, so that would make sense. They were an Indiana-based company. So we'll catch a few more letters to the editor here and see if their guesstimates were actually true. This is kind of an interesting one as well. How to make a visible spark time locator. I have a 2-cylinder, 4-cylinder Jackson runabout. Okay. Of 1910 vintage, which was working fine when I had some work done on it by an amateur. After he had his job done, he tried to adjust the carburetor. Consequently, I can hardly make hills on low, which I used to make on high. I have had an expert at work on it since with no better results. It is equipped with a Remy Magneto and Schebler carburetor. Can you give me any information on how to set the carburetor? I have new spark plugs and have cleaned them and changed sides without any better results. It misses when running idle up to a medium speed and then fires all right, but will not pull a hill. And if I give it more gas for the hill, it will choke down and kill the motor. Running along on level at moderate speed, it spits in the carburetor. So there again, this is letters to the editor about tech help on a 1910 Jackson 2-cylinder runabout. It is quite likely that your carburetor now supplies too much air. Try adjusting the auxiliary air inlet so as to put more tension on the valve and compel the engine to suck more fuel. It is also possible that the timing of the mag has been changed and that the spark does not take place at the right time. An accompanying sketch and description shows an apparatus that may be used to determine where the spark occurs. If you can get at the end of the crankshaft or at the end of the camshaft to apply this device, you can know where the spark is when running. Probably you can determine near enough where it is by turning over slowly, but there is often a considerable lag to the sparking apparatus. Try adjusting both the spark and carburetor while the engine is running. One man can do this while another drives. You will probably ascertain which way to make the improvement and can carry it through when at the garage. So there again, just craziness to think about that stuff. Glad you guys are enjoying it. You know, there's so much in it. We're not even halfway through this thing. Just catching a few pages, you know, at the end of the episode every week. But there again, it's awesome. What we're learning is awesome, and a ton of cool information. Automatic garage entrance signal. I am contemplating building a garage consisting of 1 story and basement in the downtown district, and I want it to be up to date in every way. I understand there are garages which have automatic signals as cars come in and go out. A signal that automatically rings the bell and turns on a red light. Can you give me any information as to how they are installed? Now, this letter was from a gentleman in San Francisco. So apparently, this was a very blind area where you couldn't really see the street, things like that, where you were watching for cars. The answer was the arrangement of a signal is to be operated by the incoming vehicle is not difficult if your approach is such that you have room to place this device. Many a farmer's gate is operated by a bar across the road, which the wheels depress and which depression opens the gate. A similar bar located at the curb line where no one would need to get against it, except the vehicles going in and out, could be depressed with enough to close an electrical circuit, which would both ring the bell and light a lamp. So, there again, crazy technology for the day. You know, now we're used to everything being automatic. You don't ever want to get out of your car. You pull up to a gate, you pull up a garage door, whatever it is, you just want to hit a button and go. So it's kind of weird when we look back, but there again, we're going back over 100 years. And there were a lot of differences back then. Was the Jackson Church Ironworks? It didn't say, Kenny. All it said was I have a 2-cylinder, 4-cycle Jackson runabout of 1910 vintage. That's all it tells us on that letter to the editor, that's what the owner had. So anyway, I think with that, we'll probably go ahead and get ready to wind things down tonight. I'm obviously getting pretty tired. Next week, we'll probably squeeze in a bit of a different magazine. We'll put the Automobile Trade Journal from September of 1913 back off to the side for a little bit. We'll definitely be back to it, don't get me wrong. There's so much cool information in here, though, but I like to mix it up a little bit, so we'll get something else for the next week or two. But don't worry, we will be back to the amazing Auto Trade Journal. You can see where we're at. This is what we've looked at. This is what we haven't looked at. Can you imagine how much more cool stuff is in here that we're going to see over the next several months that we haven't gotten to yet? Sounds great, Big Job. Awesome, Mike. Appreciate that. Like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. And Rico's going to be jumping off. Well, we're getting ready to wrap things up for the evening. I know I'm getting tired. I'm sure a lot of you guys are. Lots of stuff going on. Like I said, I got a ton of stuff going on with F&E tomorrow. I'll get your guys' shipments on the way, but things are going to get bananas with F&E coming up. Lots of killer stuff coming up. Going to be hitting the website here over the next couple of days, and I sure hope to see some of you guys here in a couple weeks. I think Rico and Jess are planning to come. They usually come out about every year, and hopefully a few more of you can make it. It's always a good time. So anyway, that being said, what else we got coming up this week? Probably going to be hammering you on some new inventory videos. Sounds perfect, Kevin. No problem with that, guys. And there are several of you that say just hold it till you get a few things. I've got a row of boxes over there under the 78 F250 with your names on them. Alex has one. Kevin Brown's got one. Pete's got one. And a few other guys. So that's what we do. I just put them in there till you get a couple things ready to go. or like in Alex's case or Kevin's case, Kevin's from Great Bend. He's down here a handful of times a year, so he just picks them up. So that I'll work it however it works for you guys, not a problem. But like I said, I've had so much new inventory coming in. Be sure to check out the F&E page on both Facebook and YouTube. Going to be feeding a lot of stuff there as well. Awesome, big job. Find us some good Janets. I'm totally down with that. And if you missed that clip that Big Job found about Janet, you'll need to go back to the No Buddies Facebook page and check that out. So anyway, Crazy Candy to think, number 229. Next week, number 230. We've done this 230 times. How crazy is that? And I'm glad you guys keep coming back. I'm glad you guys enjoy what we do. I guess we're doing it right. You guys keep coming back. I keep trying to do my thing, and I appreciate you guys being here and supporting it and making it what it is. So, I'm hurt you trade Tractor Mike for Janet. I think Tractor Mike would trade me for Janet. So you got to look at it from that point of view too. Yeah, the auction is here in Great Bend, Kevin. It's out at the expo grounds. So you got to kind of look at that from both sides. If it was me or Janet, I think I'm going. I think Tractor Mike's going with Janet, and I'm out. So, got to get some of that new inventory up. And then, like I said, we've got a lot of F&E stuff coming up. Be sure to check out that YouTube channel as well as that Facebook page. And once again, I appreciate you guys swinging by, hanging out, making this what it is. And that's great, Scott. That's what we always try to do. Hopefully, everybody learns something. We're all always learning. If what I put together here does teach you guys something, that's all that much better because we all learn. And your guys' feedback and your guys' comments and your guys' knowledge also helps me learn. That's what's great about this whole thing. So, anyway, I hope everybody has a great week. We will do Toy Tuesday live. We'll get some new inventory up. Lots, like I said, stay tuned for that F&E stuff. I may start sharing some of that stuff over onto my Facebook page as well. But lots and lots of stuff going on. Hope to see some of you guys out here in a couple weeks. You got anything else, Gray Kitty? You're good? Okay. Gray Kitty's good. What? We'll see some of you Tuesday night for some Toy Tuesday Live. We'll get some more new content up. And we sure hope to see you guys next Sunday night at 7:30. Same bat time, same bat station for some more Sunday night live chat. I appreciate all the kind comments and the support of all you guys. We sure hope to see you all back right here next week for some more live chat. Thanks for watching, everybody.